The roster compared to last season, it seems like there's more athleticism.
I would agree there's more athleticism, and I also think there's a whole lot more pulling together as a team. I feel like we're all coming together a lot more this year. I feel like everyone's excited about this year and what we have, and I think that we all think there's something special here with what we got.
How do you feel like where do you feel like you are right now compared to last season? I know you had COVID during the season. How did that affect you?
Having COVID definitely put me a bunch of steps back in the middle of the season, but I feel like now I'm back to where I was and even a little further. I feel like my conditioning has taken steps from where I was before, and I feel like I'm real good right now. I'm looking forward to pushing.
You're headed into your third year now here on campus, and second year obviously going to be on the court. That's one of the older players on this team. Is that a role you're kind of developing as this training camp goes on?
Definitely a role that I have to step up into. Pip, Jordan, myself, all of us have been here for 3 years, and we got to be the leaders. We got to show the new guys how to do things off the court and on the court. And, we got to set that example for them going forward, just so that way they know, okay, this is what we do, this is how we do it, this is what we're about.
You're also a guy who transferred in here a couple years ago. You guys got 4 transfers coming in this year. Have you had any conversations with those guys about transferring into Vanderbilt, even if it's like off the court related?
Definitely, it's transferring into Vandy is tough. They don't take a lot of the credits that you might have had, and the school here is very different from where a lot of people transfer from. The academics are very tough, and making sure you're eligible on the court starts in the classroom. And I think Coach Stack does a great job of making sure that everyone knows, take care of your business off the court so that it doesn't affect your business on the court.
Do you what challenges, I guess, does it present when you're practicing against Taryn or Jermaine playing the 5?
It's definitely tough when I go to play bigger dudes because, obviously with Liam hurt right now, when he comes back, that's going to be great because playing against other SEC bigs, they're all big. They have the arm length, they got the vertical, and it's just something that's, hard to simulate when I'm playing against those guys, but they do a great job of trying to, push me, and then I got to push them too, just the same way.
At the same time, do you see aspects of Taryn and Jermaine that can kind of change it up playing the 5? That can be an asset to you guys too.
Definitely. They can pull it outside, they can take it off the dribble, and that's something that's great for me because, I'm not always going to play. With Liam, I might not always play the biggest dude. I might play the forward who's trying to take it off the rip or catch it on the wing and then play from there. So it's definitely good to get a little bit of a mix-up at the wing too.
You get an update on Liam and how he's doing?
Liam's doing well. He's going to be his ramp up has him back on the court. Getting dummy offense first week of November. So he's on schedule. Looking good. He's doing individual work right now. Look really good. Really enticing. Looking to get him on the floor and get him back in the mix. But again, still probably. The first week, just kind of get him acclimated, probably some dummy offense, non-contact. Second week, we'll ramp up a little bit, and maybe we'll see where we're at in the third week, November.
With these scrimmages, what are you, I know you can't talk specifics, but when you go into them, what are you looking for? Do you want to win the scrimmage? Is that something you care about, or is it more about trying out situational stuff?
Yeah, winning is always a key point of it, but again, we're going to play. Everybody, we got to see what guys do. In our previous scrimmage, everybody played, maybe aside from a couple of the walk-ons who those guys even played, and we had a 10 minutes zone segment, and we put those guys in the zone segment after we played a 40-minute game, and looking to kind of have a similar rotation, this weekend as well. So just to want to get some work. It's a lot of guys have never played a college game, so we want to see how they respond to another team. It's tough for us right now because we're getting pretty good at what we want to do defensively and what we want to do offensively. So as you see, it's real kind of evenly matched right now, kind of balanced how the game. Now we had a couple guys that had to go to class, so we couldn't even have an overtime today. So, but they're competing, they're getting it, they're learning, and we're excited about where we are right now. But it's a good test for us. I mean, it was a good test this past weekend, and hopefully another good test for us, another physical team that kind of matches the type of physicality that we'll see in conference play.
Jumping back to Rob and Liam for a second, he's a guy who played with an elite guard last year in Marcus Carr. Now he's going to play with Scotty. Do you, watching the film there, are there things in what he's done in the past that you want to incorporate with an elite guard here? In the pick and roll, dribble handoff kind of action?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to play the way that we play. I think Liam, likes the things that we're doing just from the looking on. He hadn't been a part of it, but just being in all of the film sessions, seeing what we're doing, I think he can really see himself out there thriving in what we do. Having the ability to pop, still roll, still give us just a big target. It's the biggest target that we've had, since I've been here. And I mean, that's just a luxury for everybody. Any ball handler, you get in a bad way, you got a big guy that you can throw it up to, whether it's in a pick and roll in those situations. But I think more so even on the defensive end, we've been pretty sound and pretty solid so far. But every defense gonna have a crack every once in a while. When you got a guy that's behind you that can clean up some mistakes. Not necessarily even with the shot blocking, but just with his, sheer size and ability to go vertical at the rim is going to be, I think, really good for our defensive numbers, which I want to see get a lot better now that we have a better handle of who we are and what we want to do, especially a piece like that with him and Q. Being, Q is more of a vertical threat for us as more than a shot blocker, but Liam is a guy that we feel like is going to get his hands on balls and even initiate some transition offense for us.
What have you seen from Terran Frank so far, and where are you looking for him to contribute most to this?
Terran has a lot of talent, a lot of ability. I mean, he can play on the perimeter. Because Liam has been out, it's kind of we've had to forcefully play him at the 5 a little bit more than we want to. He's really a 4. Who I think ultimately has some ability to play a 3, but just because of where we are with Liam being out and only having one true center on the roster with right now with Q, that he's logged a lot of time. So he's been doing a good job, man. His learning curve of understanding what we want him to do, playing in the pocket, now playing on the perimeter a little bit more. He has the ability to handle, to play in some 4-5 pick and roll, which is really tough to guard. But I think he's been catching on, really well. He's just adjusting to college as well, even though he was at TCU. So, I mean, it's different. Everywhere's different, and he has a little bit of an adjustment to what's going on, here on campus and classes and all those type of things. But we feel good about where he and Jermaine are, and it's going to be a battle. Right now, Miles is, in front of those guys just from knowing what to do and having a better understanding. And he had a great summer, but those guys are going to definitely get minutes, at that 4th spot, and it's going to be fun to watch that battle all year long. I mean, I think we're pretty solidified some of those other positions as far as guys that have been around. When you look at Rodney and Scotty, in the starting lineup, to start right away. I mean, Tyron coming back, it's just, Shane Dezzoni, he was a guy that broke the ice in the last scrimmage when we were a little, everybody had a little nervous jitters. We had a freshman come in and bang 2 threes, so it's exciting to have that type of competition right now, and that hierarchy kind of dictates itself. It's not something that I have to do over the time. That they'll slot themselves in where they need to be.
What do you think of Tyron? How has he looked now that he's practicing fully?
He looks good. I mean, he had a scrimmage we had yesterday. He had 7 points in a 10-minute scrimmage. So he had a 3, had a couple nice drives. He's our best downhill guy. I mean, even more so than Scotty. Just being able to get downhill and be athletic at the rim, and he's a willing passer if help comes. So it's good to see him back out there. We know he's going to struggle a little bit just confidence-wise, getting back out there, getting bumped. But he got knocked down yesterday. Max Adelman set a hard screen on him. So those are the type of things that he needs just to kind of get back into the flow of basketball. But he's been getting a lot of work on his shot, really working on his right hand. Obviously, he's left-hand dominant, so I've spent a lot of time with him working on his right hand, so he's getting better at it. But we're super excited to get him back into the mix because he's just above the rim threat, lob threat, downhill threat, just what you need when you're playing in the SEC, and he's our athlete.
Is Peyton good? I didn't see him.
out there?
We're having a little bit of tough love with Mr. Daniels right now, but he'll be back in the mix. He's okay. You know, he's just, again, young kid coming to college for the first time, and had to put him on punishment a little bit, but he's good, man. He's good. He gives us another dynamic that we don't have, just his ability to shoot the ball quickly and do things that we need, that we're gonna have to him. But at the same time, we're not just in the business of teaching guys how to play basketball. We're teaching them how to be young men and be responsible and be where he's supposed to be on time and do all those type of things. But he's learning, and he's getting better. But he'll be back with us soon.
As there are 8 newcomers to the team, how have there been challenges for integration? How have you overcome those?
No, haven't really been any challenges. Like I said, our leaders have been really good. Our guys have come in and kind of set the table of how we do things. You know, how we approach our work. And I think that's the best example. You know, we don't have to come in and try to onboard them when we have guys that understand it and come in and do their work. And you just follow the leader, and that's kind of our approach.
Who have you seen emerge as a new leader this season?
I think Scotty and Jordan, Q. He's been a guy that always been. He knows a lot of what we're doing, and he's willing to share. You can see him pulling guys on the side after they get out of a drill, talking to him. Scotty's great at that. Like I said, Jordan's been. Even Miles. Just those guys have been a year. Trey, same thing. Those guys has been around, and it's not like it's. I'm not going to show this guy something because I feel like he's going to get a few minutes from me or something like that. They know that we're all in it together, and that's what I love about this team. I had a play that I was talking about today in film where, Miles missed a good 3, but I was like, this is the great sign that we're going to be a good team. Is I had 2 guys, Rodney, who made the pass to him. He dapped him up on the way back down. Q came and dapped him up on the way back down, and those are just the type of things that when you start seeing that with your group, you know that they're pulling for each other, and good things are on the horizon.